What's going on, you guys? Welcome back for another Witcher 3 video. If you're new here and would like to support the channel and all future content, consider subscribing, you guys. If you like the video, a thumbs up will be appreciated. So let's go over genies and why the sorceress Yennefer wanted to harness a djinn ever so badly. So let's talk about djinns, also known as genies. Now, if you've watched my previous video, tips and tricks on how to beat the djinn on Death March, you can see what the djinn looks like in game and how powerful it can be. So what are djinns really? Well, a lot of people have asked me this. They ask, are djinns just evil genies? Well, throughout mythology and legends in our world, genies are neither good nor evil. Most people I know have only seen the Witcher Netflix show and or played The Witcher 3, and we have a lot of newcomers to The Witcher 3 today. But after reading the majority of the Witcher books, I have a good understanding of what a djinn really is, especially in the world of The Witcher. Now, going off of the book, The Last Wish, we learn more about what djinns really are. From the book is a scene which many of you may recognize from the show. So we're going to take it a step back before I tell you guys what the djinns are, because there is a priest that tells us all about it that they do not include in the Netflix show. So if you recognize from the show where Yennefer is trying to capture the djinn to harness its power, but the book, in a lot of ways, different from the show, of course, right? There's so many details that are missing. In the book, Geralt, after being imprisoned in the town of Rin, because of Yennefer putting a spell on him and making Geralt go out and seek revenge on people that mistreated her, he then found himself being attacked by the guard in the prison cell, as we saw in the show. And Geralt said he wished he would just burst. The guard did so. That's when he realized he was the one with the wishes from the djinn. Now, you're probably asking, why the hell are you recapping this? We've seen it in the show. Well, because after this particular scene in the book, Geralt finds himself in Mayor Neville's office with Sheridan the elf that was also imprisoned with him, and the priest Crape. Now, whereas in the show, this never happened at all. He just goes strictly to that house where Yennefer was at the whole time. Now, this is where the priest tells us in the mayor's office about djinns. Now, djinns are called genies in legend, but they are supernatural beings, these elemental spirit creatures that enchanters like Yennefer want. Why? Well, from the book The Last Wish, the priest Crep explains enchanters draw their power from a force of nature, or to put it more accurately, from the so-called four elements or principles commonly called natural forces: air, water, fire, and earth. Each of these elements has its own dimension, which is called a plane in the jargon used by enchanters. There is a water plane, a fire plane, and so on. These dimensions, which are beyond our reach, are inhabited by what are called genies. Now, there are four sorts, just as there are four planes. The djinns that we are all so familiar with are air creatures. Marads are associated with the principle of water. Afrit are fire genies, and Dao are earth genies. So now we know there are four types of genies, and the reason Yennefer is trying to capture the djinn is because it is a living reservoir of magical energy. Any sorcerer who has a genie at their beck and call can direct the energy in the form of spells. Yennefer would no longer need to use a force from nature. The genie does it for them, or for Yennefer. Now, the power of any such enchanter would be impeccably powerful. So you see, these genies are dimensional beings that are incredibly powerful, and when trapped into bottles and used are quite pissed off. Another enchanter, Monk, had ways of forcing a djinn to serve him, saying he had more than one, said he was to keep them in bottles and make use of them when the need arose. 3 wishes from each genie, then set free to escape and go back to its own dimension. In order to imprison a djinn, or any genie really, it first needs to be weakened and closer to death. Being captured makes them more dangerous and will become as said in your bestiary in The Witcher 3. But genies are spiteful and deceitful beings, and as I said earlier, hate being packed into bottles and will do anything and everything possible to make it impossible for you to express your wishes, which explains for the djinn's temperament in the show and book, as Yennefer was trying to capture it. But even though we got to see partially how powerful a djinn can be in the show, the book, on the other hand, does a better job at explaining its destruction. In the book, the djinn is more on the verge of destroying the whole town, and the mayor is just going crazy trying to get everyone to help stop Yennefer. Not just the building Geralt and Yennefer reside in the show, but the one thing that in a way gave me goosebumps in the book was when the priest tells us about the Enchanter Stammelford. Now, the priest said Stammelford once moved a mountain because it obstructed the view from his tower. This alone, if you picture it, is not only incredibly impressive, but scary to think that one can have the services of a Dao, an Earth Genie, and move mountains. There are other records of amazing accomplishments by other magicians or enchanters on similar scale, as in enormous waves or catastrophic rains, which are certainly the work of Maraud's, fiery columns, fires, and explosions, the works of Afrits, or the works of jinns like whirlwinds and hurricanes. These dimensional beings, known as genies, are not a force to be reckoned with, and as we have been told and saw in the show, are hard to control and foresee. So this is why Yennefer wanted the Djinn's power, also explaining what these genies really are and where they come from, plus why they should probably stay in their dimensional plane. But that's all I really have for you guys on the genies and where they come from and why Yennefer really wanted to harness this power. You can see that she just wants to be the most powerful being and just wants everything as said in the show and as we know in the book. If you end up coming across it, I recommend you guys reading it. You guys can also go into your bestiary in Witcher 3 and it gives you a summary on djinns. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the backstory on genies and why enchanters such as Yennefer will want to capture one. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. If you liked the video, thumbs up. You can follow me on Twitter at Hambone Gaming. And that is all I have for you guys in this video. So I will catch you all in the next one. Later.